Hello, everyone. Hope you're having an amazing Monday and welcome to the Reality Bang. I'm RJ Yohann, your host for this session, and thank you for tuning in. That's it. If you guys want to contribute to our topics, have any questions, or just want to tell us what an amazing job we're doing, you can reach out to us at 6364252164. Now, let's jump right into it. For this edition of the Reality Bang, we'll be talking about the career confusion in India. And of course, we have Mr. Shreyas here with us. Now, before we start, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction of Mr. Shreyas right here. Now, Mr. Shreyas has covered over 18,000 students, motivating them towards a possible career path, giving talks on leadership, public speaking, career choices, etc. Enabling students to rightly choose and bridging the gap between their passion and career has been his prime focus area. Now, with prior experiences as a content writer and subject matter expert with various publications, he has authored a book called Yes, I Am an Idiot, which remains very motivational and exceptional by many readers. He is a TEDx speaker and has given talks on various platforms, including educational fairs, seminars organized by various media houses, including Public TV, Vijaya Karnataka, etc. He has delivered talks at 100 plus stages, teaching being his passion. He also coaches CA and CS students at various colleges, universities, and coaching centers across India, and is presently a professor of law and audit at JK Shah classes. He he has judged over 50 plus national business level fest competitions. He presently is the director at Chokma Private Limited, Follow Private Limited, and I Speak. It's indeed a great pleasure to have you on the show, Mr. Shreyas.
Thank you so much, Ron, and thank you for that introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So let's jump right into it. Now, my very first question is now, why do most Indian students, aim for only MBA, MBBS, or engineering? And
Mhm.
why is your plan B often, limited to courses like BBA, BCom, BA, BSc, all of that?
To answer this, coincidentally, there was also last week we had the Karnataka PUC exams.
Yeah.
So if I have to just kind of correlate to what you said, to whatever is the statistics of just our state per se, Karnataka, for example, every year in our state, around roughly 6 to 7 lakh students in the second PUC write their exams.
Oh,
Roughly
wow.
6 to 7 lakhs. This has been the same number for over a decade. Even if you look back at 2014 onwards,
Hmm.
it's usually been 6 to 7 lakhs of them. And if you look at the major chunk of them out of these 7 lakh, the statistics, at least, which is basically, as I told you, usually is the same. Year on year, it remains the same number. But if you look at the division between, science, commerce, and humanities, that is arts, the
Yeah.
statistics is more or less remain the same over a very long period. You have 2,80,000 of them writing their science.
Hmm.
You have This is the recent statistics of the PU board 2025. 2,80,000 of them who've picked science, 2,04,000 who've picked commerce, and meanwhile humanities arts, basically 1,53,000 of them picked up arts. So you see, even today, that still holds good. Though there are a lot of people who are shifting from science towards commerce and arts, but if you still look at the
Yeah.
data or the facts and figures, we still have 2,80,000 of them, picking up science, commerce is 2,04,000. There's almost a difference of 80,000 of them, and half of science is what goes for arts, which is 1,50,000. And the second thing that we need to also observe is the pass percentage of people who pick up science, commerce, and arts. The people who have picked up science this particular 2025, their pass percentage has been the highest, which is 82.45%. And when you talk about people who've picked up commerce, their pass percentage is 76.07%, and those who've picked pass arts being the lowest, which is 53.29%. Now, this data that I told you, though it is the latest years, that is 2025 PU boards, this has been constant for a very long period of time. You always have the highest ratio of people passing from science. So,
Yeah.
two things that we can draw from here. Number one, there's still people, or this that stigma that is stuck, particularly predominantly in South India, where science is still looked at the best choice, and then you have commerce, and then you have arts.
Arts, yeah.
The numbers also back up the statement of science being the most preferred.
Hmm.
The secondly is, if you look at the past percentage also, that's something that we need to really introspect and understand. Somehow, this interest level or the commitment level or the dedication level in people who pick up science
Hmm.
is gradually uh, increasingly higher than compared to commerce and arts.
Arts, yeah.
We cannot generalize anything per se, but again, if you look at the facts, the numbers hold good to draw a conclusion that they usually have more commitment. The reason for this is, science guys, when they start off from 10th itself, they are somehow focused or driven by their decisions that they either want to take up engineering or
Hmm.
MBBS.
Yeah.
And when you compare these courses or entrance exams for engineering and medicine versus the entrance exams for things in commerce or arts, there's hardly any entrance exam for BCom or BSc, BCA. There's no entrance exams for this. And
Yeah.
today, now that medicine students have to give NEET,
Hmm.
they don't compete among peers, only among their state. Before we had KCET in our state,
Yeah.
okay, common entrance test.
Hmm.
But today you don't see them competing only against their peers among the state. It's neat, you see them from across the state, so it's more challenging. And the fact that every auntie, uncle, neighbor that they meet,
Yeah.
the moment they say what you're doing, 10th or 12th, their reactions become very, I don't know what to call it. Either it's very concerned or very hypothecated. Sorry, I meant to say very judgy sometimes.
Hmm.
They bring in that pinch of negativity, saying that, oh my God, this is your turning point of your life. I really don't understand which side it turns. But while they grow up, somehow it is fixated in their head that you pick up science, you
Hmm.
are a good student.
Oh,
You
yeah.
pick up arts, you are the opposite of good. But this somehow is very predominant in South India. At the same time, if you go up north, particularly in DU, Delhi University, there are
Hmm.
also quite a lot of people who pick up arts. Okay,
Hmm.
the sole reason is they pick up arts because they do not, venture into doing something like science, like engineering or MBBS. I'm not saying they were nobody picks up. There are a lot of numbers there also who pick up,
Hmm.
but there are a lot of them who go for something called as arts in order to give their UPSCs. Okay, so you have
Okay.
a lot of people taking up UPSC exams to clear their IAS, IFS, IRS. And
Hmm.
that is also the other reason, if you look at Delhi, Delhi has one of the finest coaching centers for your UPSC exams.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends, a lot of the people that I know, finish their degrees here and move to Delhi, because they believe that it offers a better exposure for these kind of examinations.
Hmm.
So ultimately, to answer the question, the understanding of people that only science can go ahead is still there.
Hmm.
You are considered, sometimes I keep saying this, only if you are an engineer or a doctor, you're respected in the society. They keep saying this as a joke. You pick up any other joke, they look like you, like you're a thief,
Yeah.
you're good for nothing, and all that. I mean, though it is said on a funnier note, some people really take this seriously.
Hmm.
Down south, a few of our states, engineering, MBBS is the only thing to go. But over the years, what's happened is, of course, engineering has its own kind of you know market superiority when it comes to present day improvement in AI or robotics.
Yeah.
You master that, yes, you have a very good prospect. Otherwise, it's still a question mark even for an engineering student.
Hmm.
And people should also understand, how much of engineers we are producing every year. Approximately, I
Yeah.
think, we produce around 120 to 1,70,000 engineers in Karnataka alone.
Oh gosh, that's
Okay,
a
so
huge number.
yeah, when you are producing this amount of engineers, you need to understand whether the market is capable enough to absorb these kind of people, into the sectors that they actually studied for.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that bridge between demand and supply. That is
Hmm.
why you find them, without jobs, or doing jobs that have no connection to whatever they studied.
Yeah.
On the other hand, doctors, still, the title of noble profession, and still sought out. The thing with doctors is, I've seen quite a lot of, my own friends, or stories that I've heard from them.
Hmm.
Some of them are, meritorious students who come on merit, who have completed their, 5 years, 5.5 years of MBBS just by paying 70,000 rupees per year,
Oh.
which for MBBS is really, really good. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I've also seen people, who have paid a crore upwards to just book a seat,
Yeah.
what we call as management quota. And I
Hmm.
was surprised to know the specialty courses can range, the MD, I'm saying the masters after an MBBS, can
Hmm.
range up anywhere between, 2 to 4 crores. And the super specialty courses, what we call is oncology, cardiology, can range anywhere between 6 to 7 crores.
Oh.
So that is why, one video of Dr. Devi Shetty,
Hmm.
uh, the renowned cardiologist of India. He makes a very nice statement in one of his interview. He says it's very important to give these medical seats for people who come from the economically backward areas and villages. And he supports his statement by saying, because these are the one who really come with the fire in the belly. They are not the ones who study this to make a lot of money, but they're the ones who study this and go back to their towns or villages because they couldn't save their uncle, auntie,
Hmm.
grandfather, or his friend because of a snake bite, because of
Yeah.
something in the city which is, very curable, like malaria, right, like dengue. They have lost their close ones because of something like this, because there was nothing that was offered with regard to medical in their villages.
Yeah.
He says you need to really, somehow cut down this, management stunt, and really deliver this to those deserving students who come with the fire in the belly.
Hmm.
But ultimately, the I feel it's the awareness. People should really understand that, there are a lot of courses in the commerce stream, in the arts scheme, like, let's say the student decides to, go for an UPSC, or in commerce, he decides to do a professional course. You have a list of professional courses that are, faringly doing lots better than engineering today.
Yeah.
uh, you know of course, I'm not bringing in AI here. That's a different ball game today.
Yeah.
So I think it's the lack of awareness that, students, more than students, it is the circle of the students, the family, the elders, neighbors, society stigma, all these factors, somehow, consider, uh, you know student making choices to pick up, science as the most preferred.
Yeah.
Something like, Three Idiots, which is almost a decade old film,
Hmm.
still holds good. When you're born, the parent is already dreaming this is a, engineer or a doctor. But there are also parents who have, come out of this, uh, you know drawing conclusions there,
Hmm.
of, wider perspective of what to do, what next to do.
Hmm.
So yeah, so there are a lot of chances like this. So I think it's lack of awareness at the end of the day.
Of course. Now, we all know, like, in India, there is a one huge problem. Like, many young students, they don't get proper career counseling, if we call it. Now, why is proper career counseling still missing in India or in most Indian schools? And how does this affect, the lack of guidance to these students for, various career choices?
Now, the same question, if you have asked me 5 or 6 years back, I
Hmm.
would have agreed to it 100%.
Yeah.
But today, there is this, there's a drift rather, where you have a
Hmm.
lot of people, a lot of organizations, a lot of educational institutions, a lot of media houses.
Hmm.
In fact, one of my very dear friend and my partner also, associates with various media houses
Hmm.
to conduct these educational seminars.
Oh yeah.
They're doing it across South India, where you will have topics on various, courses. For example, you will have some expert coming and talking on law, somebody talking on the field of commerce, somebody
Hmm.
talking on AI, somebody talking on engineering, somebody talking on, UPSC exams, government services. So you have various experts from that particular field who will come, engage the students, take up these questions, and then you have career counselors there who will kind of help you to come out of this. But I feel this problem is not anymore prevalent
Hmm.
in tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities,
Yeah.
particularly metropolitan cities. The offerings is a lot. You
Hmm.
have a lot of people who offer them, and though you have a lot of people doing such seminars and everything, students will still stick to taking their phone, googling stuff and trying to understand what is what and
Yeah.
everything. Though Google gives you a lot of information, there's a lot of difference between reading it over a screen and actually visualizing it by talking to a person who's encountered that journey.
Yeah.
So today there are a lot of people coming out giving a lot of awareness about various career choices,
Hmm.
but of course it might not be available to small towns, but a lot of these tier 2 towns also have these things going on, particularly this month.
Hmm.
I think in another 10 days you will have back to back educational fairs. Even in our city we'll have a lot in palace grounds, other centers where you'll have a lot of people coming in, engaging, talking about their courses, where student can make informed decision making
Hmm.
of what he or she fits in, go sitting in their seminar, taking a lot of downloads from people.
Hmm. Hmm.
And until you're exposed to these stuff, you really don't know what else is available there, because you just
Yeah.
feed it upon one person's experience.
Hmm.
When you go out, okay, the world has more to offer. So it's
Hmm.
very important for students to to attend these kind of seminars, or let's say educational fairs,
Hmm.
and so not completely decide upon that, but this is definitely knowledge updation.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you know what is required in the market. It'll help you to take your decisions, particularly people in the 10th and 12th.
Yeah.
This becomes very important.
So now, coming over to my third question. Now, why do financial struggling students, hesitate to explore unconventional career courses, like even if they're passionate about them?
Okay, so these unconventional career council, if various people will have a definition of, these whatever you said by unconventional career council, courses. Some of them would, would call, there are people who say anything apart from science, that is engineering and MBBS, is unconventional.
Yeah.
But if you have heard my costing that I gave for medicine,
Hmm.
oh, that's not at all financially viable if you're
Oh yeah.
not a merit student. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're a merit student, that's different. You know, at the same time, my other friend who went on to do his masters,
Hmm.
I was surprised when he said his fees is 1 lakh rupees. It's government fees.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and the government supports students who are on meritorious entry.
Hmm.
But if you're not, then obviously you'll have to shell out more. But I think the question is more of the fear of students to pick up courses, um, which is not guaranteed returns.
Hmm.
Okay. But today, if you look at the uncertainty of market, there's
Yeah.
uncertainty everywhere.
Hmm.
Everywhere. It's not that you do engineering, you are given jobs on, they give you a red carpet entry, and they welcome you. Gone are the days when you dreamt of, I do my engineering masters, I fly abroad and I settle there, and everything looks very nice, fancy. No, I think they'll have to really focus more on Trump's speeches and
Yeah.
interviews to understand what's happening globally.
Yeah.
So anything that you pick up, give your heart, mind, and soul today.
Hmm.
I believe the market will not let you down. But unless you're an hustler, I don't think so. You're going to achieve what you really want to achieve. It's
Hmm.
difficult, particularly if you do not have that financial background, and you are the breadwinner, and you already at a very younger age, you're already looking at all this. It becomes difficult for that kind of student. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they pick up something that they know. Okay, this I will get a job,
Hmm.
this will help me draw some revenue, and I can grow and my family can grow. So there are a lot of limitations for a lot of people of this regard, in this regard. But again, you give your time to it. You tell yourself, struggle for another 3 years, 4 years, maybe at the max 5.
Hmm.
I think God will definitely bless your hard work, and market will somehow you'll be able to push yourself, make better choices, and
Yeah.
swim through. So the fact that these unconventional courses, as I said, each one call it differently, but let's it's safe for us to conclude that people today say if you're picking up a career in singing, in music, in fashion designing, in interior, it's very unconventional.
Hmm.
You would be looked like a joker if you 5 years back if you said I want to take up stand-up comedy. Today I have friends, who are stand-up comedians. When I try to invite them for a particular event, they charge 60,000, 1 lakh, 1 lakh 50
Hmm.
for what? Per 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And these are not, I'm not talking about these well-established, like out of the league top guys. I'm talking about
Hmm.
mediocres, who do these small-time shows in, various pubs or clubs,
Yeah.
small rooms across Bangalore. So you today, as I told you, you're good in something,
Hmm.
or dream to be very good in that, and you
Hmm.
actually be good in that. I
Yeah.
don't know why the market will not pay you. It will,
Hmm.
it should rather,
Yeah.
but it's how good you are.
Hmm.
And that's
Exactly.
why I keep saying, if you're not able to be best in the country,
Hmm.
target being best in your state.
Hmm.
If that is a challenge, target best in your city.
Yeah.
Break it smaller, make it look more achievable, and then
Hmm.
you start climbing up the ladder.
Exactly.